said, gas leaks from people out working and things like that. So definitely the summer season has picked up of everybody is out and moving around and doing work and doing those type of things. So with that comes that increased risk of calls and issues that happen. So that's where we're at right now.
4th of July is next week. Always a little bit more rambunctious holiday, let's call it.
For sure. And obviously everybody loves their fireworks. And so, we just urge everybody to be careful with their fireworks. If they're going to have sparklers, make sure that, you have adult supervision. You have a bucket of water to dunk them in when they're done. Obviously, sparklers, they give them to kids, and sparklers are not necessarily kid safe, but definitely, better than playing with fireworks to say together. But, again, making sure that they hold them down at the base and hold them properly, hold them out away from their body and away from any loose clothing or anything like that, as those sparks coming off there are super hot and will burn through clothing and will burn skin. But yeah, luckily we've had quite a bit of rain, so usually it's always we're always talking about, is there a drought? What is it? And is our fireworks safe, to set off? And we're not going to have that problem this year, which is a good thing, as far as, setting fireworks off into errant fields and things like that. But we always do get, get some fireworks calls. So, the setting fireworks off caught the roof of the jail on fire last year. Caused several $1,000s worth of damage to that. So we just, again, ask people to be, cautious and when they set off fireworks, set them off in a proper place. While it's attractive to want to set them off in the street, public streets you can't set fireworks off in public streets. I encourage you to go to the Department of Homeland Security's website to get the hours that you can shoot fireworks off. The state of Indiana has laws on what hours and times that you can shoot fireworks off coming up to the 4th of July holiday. As well, and obviously the biggest one, most glaring one, is that obviously alcohol and fireworks do not mix.
Make good choices.
That's right. So usually it's hey, watch this type of moment, and either somebody ends up getting hurt or property ends up getting damaged or something like that. So we don't want to see anybody make bad decisions that cost them their health, somebody else's health, or their potential freedoms of being out and about, depending on what they do. So it definitely is a time for cautiousness, excuse me, and fun, but obviously doing that, and then just staying hydrated, knowing that water, electrolytes, limited amounts of caffeine, whether it's iced tea or iced coffee or whatever, is good, but will dehydrate you, and then stay hydrated, especially in this hot and humid weather. Obviously, walking out this morning at 80 some odd degrees, it'll take your breath away for sure.
But only 90 today instead of 92 or 93. So we're going to be thankful for a couple less degrees.
We're working in the right direction.
We are. It looks like next week's going to be slightly better. So also with 4th of July comes, grilling and all of those kind of things. So
yeah, so just anytime we're biggest thing we see with grills and that is the charcoal grills that people put their hot ashes and their hot coals in one of their plastic toters. And a lot of times those toters sit up next to our homes, and the plastic will melt, catch the trash on fire, obviously from the ashes if they're not cool. And once the toter catches fire, then it usually spreads to the side of the house. So anytime you're using your charcoal grill, make sure that you have cool ashes before you dispose of your ashes. If you dispose of your ashes in the trash can, you can also put the ashes into the ground and mix them into your ground if so need to. It's definitely a safer way to do that. You can definitely, if it's just gravel or dirt, you can just you can actually put them in there hot. But again, if you're going to put them in your trash can or in your trash toter, definitely make sure that they're cool before doing that. Otherwise, you will create and start a fire, and so we've seen those before, and those luckily get called in quite often and quickly, just because of very visible fire of on the side of the house. but you don't want any fire damage to your house or neighbor's house or anything like that. So just be responsible when you're charcoal grilling, making sure that those ashes are cool before you dispose of them.
Farming season still kind of wrapping up in the fields. Any much issue with accidents and those kind of
We
things?
have not. No. Past year or two, we've had semi-hydrous leak calls, tanks rolling over, or tanks being rolled as they're driving. We've had no accidents this year, knock on wood. So that's good. Obviously, that all the anhydrous has gotten safe. And we've had no other farming accidents. Again, knock on wood, to respond to. So it sounds like it's been, and for us, it's been a safe season.
Very good. We've got kids are out of school, and everybody is enjoying their summer activities, and that can always lead to just being more cautious as you're out and about. Kids are on bikes and
Absolutely.
walking, and and then we've got swimming pools and all of that business. So it's
E-bikes, scooters, those are all the rage. Home pools, obviously very popular. It feel very nice in a pool today and yesterday, but making sure that kids aren't unattended, making sure that somebody's always there watching them, making sure that making sure the gate's locked and things like that, and so we don't get wandering into those areas like that. So yeah, it increases the potential. Fishing in ponds. Definitely, summertime is really a time. Every season has its dangers and concerns, but it seems like in the summertime it's tenfold, because you have more people out. You have more people taking off. You have kids aren't in school. College is out, so you have a lot more people on the roadway, in the roadways. A lot of sports, a lot of activities, a lot of family events going on during that time. There's more people usually on the road traveling at this time as well. So yeah, I mean, it really increases that, and again, just making those good decisions, paying attention to your surroundings, paying attention to actually what you're doing, and trying to limit your distractions. Those are all things that come with this kind of heat wave, so to speak, and doing that. And sometimes, obviously, in the heat wave, we see people out more. We see crime go up. We see more bad decisions. All the things that we don't want to see.
The heat just goes to your head, right?
It does, and especially luckily we're used to, and our power system can handle large demands of air conditioning, as in some places can't, and they lose power. But again, if we would have a storm or something that would lose power, make sure you open your windows, get ventilation, because again, when the heat does go to your head, it seems to people get kind of nasty at times. So we definitely want to make sure that we're taking the right steps in the right directions to do that.
Very good. What anything new happening at the fire department?
No. So we're continuing to do obviously make our calls, things like that, and trying to build initiatives on the inside, make sure, always increasingly looking at morale, looking at, job satisfaction and with our folks, and seeing what can be done internally, and then, working with our other community partners into doing things like that. So obviously, we had a large gas leak out at Crown Point last night. Had to do some evacuation, so thanks to our partners in EMS and the police department for helping us go door to door and evacuate and get people out of their homes or have them shelter in place depending on their location. It's really an all-out team effort, so continue to building those relationships as always, and they are built, but it's maintaining those relationships to do that, and takes, like I said, it takes a village to make that happen. So our city partners from wastewater and police department, EMS, the mayor's office, everybody, coming out together to do what we can during the inconvenience time to keep everybody safe as much as it is an inconvenience.
And that incident has now been resolved, and people can go back home.
Yes, we are good to go. So that was a very long duration incident, longer than I think what most of us expected it to be. But it has been resolved successfully, and so we're taking steps to limit those types of activities happening again.
We're talking about the heat. I'm just jumping around today. That's my mind, right? But to you as firemen go out when you're responding to a call, you guys are in a lot of gear and it's heavy and it's already 100 degrees outside. So how do you help? How do you guys supplement to keep hydrated and well through this?
So obviously we push hydrate during the summer. We have ice machine. We have ice machines at our station. We have water available at our station, and obviously we keep ice water, bottled water on our apparatus as well. We have a squincher or a construction grade brand kind of Gatorade a little bit, and so we have that on our trucks that guys can mix in just in like power sticks. And really it's personal responsibility, but we obviously push that. Our incident commanders, our assistant chiefs, myself, we make sure that we try to rotate people quicker, and then obviously just call for more help sooner. Ultimately, that's really about the only thing we can really do is to call for help sooner. Large duration incidents that have issues, we got to think about school buses, air conditioning, things like that, because you can be acclimated to this heat, but heat's not good for you in long periods of times. And as a medical professional yourself, that majority of us go around dehydrated every day and don't realize it. And so we're already starting.
We start in deficit.
We start in the deficit. In temperatures like this, we don't ever hit baseline, just because of we're always on the move. We don't necessarily take time to cool down or hydrate, and so we really push hydration, and luckily we're able to get acclimated to the heat as we are outside quite a bit. We're able to get acclimated to the heat as it comes, and it kind of creeps in versus just marching in like a lion, like it did this year. And we did see some heat emergencies early on, just because it was a switch flip. It was very quick, and so it didn't give anybody any chance to really begin to acclimate to that heat and build up somewhat type of a tolerance. So we do, again, we do encourage hydration, and have our color charts of what's dehydrated and what's not, and again, push that out to we want to make sure that take the personal responsibility, and then we will make sure you have everything to do that.
When they do have their gear on, I'm just trying to imagine how much heat I guess that adds to what we're already experiencing.
There's 3 layers into that gear, an inner, an outer, and then the shell. And there's a moisture barrier in there to keep moisture in and keep moisture out. And so that's really the worst part of it in the summer, and it's to keep you from getting steam burned and things like that. So it serves a purpose 90% of the time of why you're wearing the gear. It's unfortunate fortunate when you're in this type of weather that you aren't able to wick that moisture away.
Sure.
So you will come out with sweat in your boots and covered in sweat, basically dripping sweat, because the system is made not to wick any of your moisture away. So in this time, it's you wear it when you need to, but we're very, very accustomed to get in and get out of it as well, because it's not just clothing; it's a protective ensemble. So if we're not needing that protection, go ahead and get out of it. And then we allow shorts for heat indexes over 100, or I'm sorry, over 90. Guys can wear shorts just out and about without having to be in long pants. And a little bit of a transformation. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily, maybe not as professional, but it's also keeping our guys cooler.
Right.
Because our like law enforcement, we wear Navy, and so obviously dark clothing absorbs heat, and so it's one of those little things we can do to kind of help just keep things cool and things like that. So when they're on the call, they've got to wear their gear, but giving that option to keep a little cooler when you're out and about is a good thing, instead of wearing having to wear long pants, boots, and all that. So trying to make those little changes that do make a difference, we feel like, and especially keep you cooler.
Gives a little relief. Yes.
For sure.
All right. We Also, let's talk training.
Let's talk.
Let's talk. Oh, you guys are always training, always preparing.
We are.
To stay up to date. So, what's been happening recently?
So we have classes are kind of kicking up. We got some guys going to structural collapse training here in August next month after it starts to cool off. We obviously take advantage of an off-site training center that we have with homes in there, and with always kind of having new recruits and newer guys consistently working on searches, catching hydrants, flowing water. Flowing water is always a good thing. We have that detention pond behind the station in the municipal complex there, so we'll go down there and flow water out of our aerial, out of our hand lines, and doing some of that work is still hot, but again, flowing the water kind of brings in a breeze through just the ventilation aspect of the water streams drawing in air so that always helps. We've done lately did some mental health first aid training, wrapped up all of our mandatory physicals. So we're doing some of our internal fitness testing currently. So kind of a smorgasbord, you would say, of everything. So always working on EMS trainings. Usually those are done on Wednesdays for the crew, and so again, being responders of all hazards, it's like you said, it's kind of just throw a dart at what you want to practice on and go with it. So yesterday they were walking through ropes and knots and pulleys and mechanical systems, and then today it could be something totally different.
Seen many water incidents yet this year?
We have not. No,
that's great news.
I know we've had one in town with a great outcome or a good outcome, but no other incidents that I even know of in the county. So that's always a plus. Those are particularly traumatic and never always a terrible time.
I know we talked a little bit last month as well, but you guys do offer those services of debriefing and mental health help if you encounter especially those kind of things.
In coordination with the Sheriff's Department, CIT, their social worker, internal trainings that we have. We do provide support, debriefings, those type of things when necessary, when needed to kind of offset that, and then we have experts and others that we can send to and refer to out of the area if further help is necessary. So and unfortunately the summertime is usually a time where you see a lot of those, because you see a lot of incidents with kids, whether it's water, whether it's pedestrian vehicle accidents, whether it's it's those type of things that just because more kids are out, the prevalence of something bad happening is unfortunately increased.
I think it's just so important that we take care of the entire person.
Correct, absolutely.
Whether it is law enforcement or fire or whatever it may be.
And there's long-standing culture of and somewhat of almost an acceptance of deviant of that as we don't know that, and we have that tide is shifting, especially in the fire service. We've realized, like the cancer thing that we've done things too dangerously for too long, and it's a shift. And obviously, as we change things, change is slow, but we're definitely getting to the point where it's more acceptable.
Yes. A big event in the county coming up in a couple of weeks. We'll be out at the Decatur County Fair, and you guys are always out and about.
Yes.
Looking forward to that.
Yes, we will be out Thursday with Greensburg Police Department as our community cookout series. We won't be cooking out, obviously, but we will be there on Thursday doing our walk that we normally do. So we'll be interacting. Greensburg Police and Greensburg Fire will be out intermingling with the crowd and talking and doing those things. So we always take advantage to get out there and do some public relations, as well as use our community cookout series to do that, and it's a time where we don't actually have to cook, and everybody can enjoy the fair food and still be able to mingle and talk and have a good time.
I think it's a great time, especially you've got a lot of kids out there, so a great time for you guys to interact, and that way, in the event you are needed for something more traumatic, it's not quite as scary. Absolutely,
and that's obviously giving tours of the trucks and doing the school systems and doing those type of things like that, and trying to acclimate us into to their normal life, to where they can interact with us, and not just because once we put our gear on or we come in and we're all business, sometimes it is kind of scary or potentially off-putting, and so it's good to see the human side of everybody, law enforcement, fire, the whole 9 yards. We all have jobs we have to do, and those jobs do change us, unfortunately, but sometimes it's also good to know that we are still human, and the decisions that we make and the things that we do are for the best, and that we think, and sometimes people just don't understand.
Favorite fair food?
Oof.
You weren't quite ready for that
That's
one yet.
tough.
See?
No.
It's early. It's early
No,
for
that is
that.
tough. It is early. It is early.
We'll let you think
Oof,
on it.
Man, that I'm not sure.
Any safety tips?
It's always a good time. Obviously just pay attention, know the signs of a heat emergency, know the signs of heat exhaustion, especially if you're out there during the day. If you're going with kids, traveling in groups, making sure you have everybody. Don't let anybody wander off. Obviously, it is awful crowded, and I think the times we've been out there before, it's people passing out, people getting too hot, overheating, those type of things like that. So hydrate. Water's your friend.
There's lots of sugary stuff out there, which is
There
great
is.
to enjoy. However,
Yes.
you've got to drink water while you're enjoying it.
Absolutely. And eating some salty food is good, obviously. That's kind of your electrolyte, and that's a good excuse to eat some salty food. But again, you've got to have that water. You've got to have that full electrolyte balance. And again, not have people, you see people either drink nothing but Gatorade because it's Gatorade and water. If you can alternate those, that's the best thing to do. But obviously, it'll rain one night in the fair, so be weather aware, because that's that's just the fair. It's got to rain at least once, so be weather aware. We'll make sure that any severe weather gets relayed, but again, be weather aware for that, and again, just hydrate and enjoy yourself.
Now, we got the mayor on one ride last year. We're going to try again this year. Did you want to join us?
I'm good, thank you.
You're good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. We rode the boat last year, but goodness, we both get motion sickness, so that probably was not the best decision we made.
Correct. I rode a kids ride at a theme park and with the family, and got motion sick on it and realized maybe that's not for me.
That was the end.
If there's a lazy river, I'm all in.
Yes, that's an easy one. Yes.
But I don't think they're bringing in the lazy river.
I don't think so. Maybe the carousel. That's pretty gentle.
Yeah.
Just circles. But,
correct.
Well, we rode the boat. We were just riding it once to film something, but it turned into 3 times back to back. Just imagine.
Yeah. See,
we needed some Gatorade after that.
Anything in excess is bad.
It is bad.
Yes.
Bad ideas.
Yes, absolutely.
That's right. Well, thanks so much for coming in
You
this
bet.
morning.
You
Anything
bet.
else
Be
you want to
safe.
get out there?
Nope, that's it right now.
All right. You guys stay as cool as you can. We appreciate all that you do here in the
Will
community
do.
for
We
us.
appreciate you guys. Thank you.
It's 9:02 on Tree Country 13.